Mark.
Hey, Paul.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's something. We are at the end of Joker Year One in Batman number 144. We're going to take a look at that and give you our overall thoughts of the Joker Year One storyline. And we're going to do all of that right after this. Before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you're and the notification bell so you're notified whenever we upload content. And leave a like and leave a comment for us. Tell us how you think we're doing. Tell us what you thought of Joker Year One. Did you think it was worth it? Did you think it was just three kind of bugs till he gets to the next thing? Or yeah, so I don't know. We're interested to see how you guys feel. But as I said, this is man number 144. This is issue number 3 of Joker Year One. So pretty much starts the same way the first two issues have started. So he had a uniform type of a plot device throughout the all three chapters. He starts in the future with Andrea Sorrentino doing the art again, incredible.
Amazing
And
art.
we basically
Absolutely amazing.
yeah yeah, and we pick up actually where we ended the last issue, which was all of the Jokerized Bat family is basically on the prowl. Um, and that's pretty much it. We still have her and Batman together, kind of wandering the city as well, trying to figure out what it is they're going to do. So um, then we jump back time to the Joker Year One, to his first year. As we've been saying, and we see we're at an opera event. What am
Fundraiser.
I thinking for? Benefit, benefit. Yeah, fundraiser for the opera.
Yeah, we got
Um,
Bruce setting up a fundraiser for the opera as a way to lure out the Red Hood gang. He's trying to use himself and his party goers as bait.
mhm. Right, because he figures that if he can lure someone away from whatever else they may be doing, if Bruce being Batman, he can help nullify whatever's going to happen because he'll be able to defeat him that way. Jump back to the precinct again. We see Commissioner Gordon going back into the precinct. Everyone wants to know why he's there because he's supposedly suspended. And then we see in the background, which kind of moves to the foreground, is we see they're booking this clown basically, who as soon as I saw him, obviously you knew who he was. That was no big mystery, but he doesn't let on who he is right away. So to the rest of the people in the precinct. The precinct is just dealing with this huge cache of which is probably
Drug.
cocaine or whatever it happens to be. And the police commissioner and one of the police officers who I believe was the one who suspended Jim Gordon uh, is basically saying he's dealing with someone who's not in on what's going on. Basically, they're going to take all of those drugs for themselves. It's going to help them to fund their whatever they need to do in Gotham City and take over the city and those good things. Um, uh, Jim Gordon realizes as he's going through the police precinct, he realizes that none of the cameras are on. None of the cameras, so no one can actually see what's going on in the precinct as these corrupt police are basically confiscating, taking all for themselves, and tasing the other police officers. And that's when Jim Gordon realizes that it's not going to go down at the opera benefit; it's going to go down at the police precinct.
And about that time,
How
the
am I doing
Red
so
Hood
far?
gang shows up. They show up, guns blazing, firing off, and we see that not only is the police officer and the commissioner affiliated with the Red Hood gang, they are absolutely leading the Red Hood gang at this point and have coordinated the gang to show up. cameras off, seize the drugs, kill whoever you have to kill, and get out of the precinct, hands clean and fully loaded. That's their goal here. They start shooting officers.
Right.
They threaten the clown to get down, and they start loading the van. And about that time, the clown's balloons explode. You have the dirty officers outside loading the van. The gang inside now are under assault by none other than the Joker.
Right. Which that was an incredible. Let me get that actually.
Yeah, it was a super cool panel.
Show the begin. We also do get a very brief couple of panels of the Commissioner McQuaid, who goes into his office and he finds a note, and inside it says, "I know everything. I know who you are," and it's from the Batman. So McQuaid is basically, we're told he's basically running the Red Hood gang at this point. So, hey, Monkey.
And she's gone. She's all hopped up on cupcakes.
Exactly.
Oh. We flash back forward after Joker makes his big reveal, and we have in the future Batman trying to figure out the case that he's working on. Joker has poisoned the entirety of Gotham via the sound wave and the laughter, triggering everybody and Jokerizing them. And he's walking around. At this point, the clues have led him to GCPD, where he's walking and trying to break down the clues Joker has given him. And he's looking at the paintings on the wall of all the previous commissioners, and he's kind of getting closer to the hint that lets him in on everything. About this time,
right.
Red Hood sneaks up behind him.
Right, but he's dealt with pretty quickly. Actually, injects him with something that knocks him out, and so he's gone. But then we find Batman going through the files. He finds Commissioner McCloyd's file, and he also finds something called a laughing bag, which is it's basically a German toy. It's like a silk bag or whatever, some kind of a small bag. Inside there's like a speaker that basically has laughter on it, and so. The problem is that it doesn't seem to be working, because although all the components are there, he doesn't actually hear anything. And so it's then at that point that a bat comes flying through the window, and Batman realizes that it actually is putting out some sound, that it's just a sound that only the bat hear. And then at that point, Batman realizes that is actually the cure for the Jokerization, is the sound that the bats put out. The Joker is the problem. Bats are the cure, basically.
Correct.
And then we jump back to thank you. We jump back to the Joker year one again. There's still doing things around the people in the precinct think that they don't have a problem. You can see them. Jim Gordon says, "Oh, no, I turned all the cameras back on. Everyone can see exactly what's going on."
And meanwhile, the Joker is absolutely slaughtering the gang. Like, you have the dirty cops dealing with Gordon. No clue that Joker is upstairs systematically and viciously, violently slaughtering their gang.
Right. And so the Commissioner McCloyd and the Commissioner basically start to fight each other inside the precinct. There's some fisticuffs. Jim Gordon runs into the area where all the cops are, and the Commissioner says, "You can't run away from me. I don't know, where do you think you're going?" And he says basically that he wasn't running away. He just wanted everyone to see when he kicked his ass, basically. And that's exactly what he does. And we find that McCloy, basically he ends up in jail. We find out a little bit later in the story. We flash back to the corrupt cop who initially Jim Gordon was after. He's basically in like this mirror funhouse, and number 22, but don't forget, remember number 22? Number 22 basically tied to a stick carnival elephant.
A little quarter machines.
Yeah, exactly. Who basically has been, we hear Joker, we don't see him, he's kind of off panel, but we hear his voice talking about he's kind of like patient number one. He's been his it all along on these type of things. Um, and but before you know it, we find he's trying to figure out the corrupt cop is trying to figure out his way out before he can. He's kicked through one of the mirrors by the Joker, who then comes at him with a knife and he basically stabs him to death.
Yeah.
And then we jump back to the future again.
To the most beautiful panel that's in this entire little short story. Sorrentino's art
Mhm.
of Batman riding a horse through the streets of Gotham with a speaker blaring the siren, bringing the bats behind him, pretty much curing everybody as he rides through the city, uh, knocking off the Joker's little effect that he had on them. And he rides all the way back to Wayne Manor, where he finds Selina cured and gives her a hug, having stopped the Joker's plan.
Right. And then we go at one final scene. We go back to the bar that we had at the beginning of the story, where the Joker was there. He's just kind of sitting there, and he was, people were starting to make fun of him, and then he, kind of beat up the whole bar and everything. And we see the people that are there from before, and in walks the Joker, and the guy says, "Hey, isn't that the guy, who's ass beat?" And before you know it, Joker locks the door. We see the neon sign from outside goes off. Everything goes black. We are left to assume that the Joker has not left the people inside in a very good condition, or even alive. Who knows? And then that's where the story ends. And I think you're on mute.
I'm pretty sure they're all dead.
Yeah, I would. That was going to be my guess too, but we don't get any confirmation of the bodies. So,
Mm.
but yeah, that's pretty much what they want to do, and that's it. That's Chip Zdarsky's quick three issue, 3-chapter Joker Year One story. What did you think?
Ooh. I kind of left this issue the way I came into this. Like I came into it not sure how to take it, how to feel, being that it's a year one story, and then that second issue really elevated my expectations and my excitement. Then this issue took me right back to where I was with issue one. There's nothing definitive about this story. It's just a story.
Right.
Take it or leave it. You don't need it. It started to feel like it added stuff to it, and it's calling back to all these things. The only thing it really like in a solid way called back to is Batman the Knight, with the death of a character that first appeared there, which means nothing if you never read Batman the Knight. It never added or took away from the Batman mythos really at all. It was a fun story. It was a good story. Having that future vision, that story set in the future, kind of playing like a year finale kind of feel to it, then turns out to be a nothing burger. Like we don't even see what happens with the Joker, that final future story. We just see Batman discovers how to de-Jokerize people, and he does it. And then we don't ever revisit him and Joker. So there was a lot of stuff that I can nitpick, but at a base level, it was fun. But I feel like it was a 3-issue filler for the actual Batman story that's being told right now. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I wouldn't necessarily tell people to run out and read it, but if you get a chance, check it out, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I enjoyed the story. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the story. But other than the very beginning of the first part, where we basically see the Joker right after everything that happened to these chemicals, this could be a Joker story from almost any year. It doesn't have to be year one. So I mean, at least when we looked at when we look at year one, like with Batman and everything, basically talked about how he developed his relationship with Commissioner Gordon and all those other type of things. So it truly felt like it was grounded in the first year. Batman was trying to learn everything. Here again, other than the very beginning, I don't really. It almost feels like it could have been anywhere. And then that brings me back to the whole thing: is do we, for a character who is based on chaos and not being grounded anywhere, and just and no order, do you need to have? Does it go against his character to try to place order into his character? If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yeah.
It's a story. It's a good story. It's a story that was good, but was it a story that was needed, or was it? Is it a story that kind of almost in some ways contradicts the essence of the character itself?
Yeah, it's like they started to in ways and then backpedaled away from it because the Joker that we see in the flashbacks, it doesn't even feel like the same Joker that we see in the Sorrentino parts, like at all.
Right. Right. And to your point, I think the only thing that we really get of any substance is the three Jokers or three different personalities of the Joker. You
And that
know,
doesn't even solidify or
character,
explain or
because
touch
like you
on
said,
like why there's three physical Jokers either. We still so that just explained
right,
like him having different characteristics, different personalities, like which is just a way to
mhm,
kind of like meta into the story, like the artist interpretations or writer interpretations over the years. So it really didn't even necessarily play into the actual three Jokers much, like you could just say like
mhm,
I don't know.
right,
This explains why he's such a wild card because he has multiple
right,
different gears turning in there. But I don't know. It
yeah,
wasn't as necessary as it let on it would be.
that's fair. I would agree with that. Um, yeah. Again, I have certainly read stories that I have not liked as much. So it's not like the bad story, um,
Mm-mm.
but I'm going to keep going back to is it something that we really needed? So, um, but you know what? Next, we're going back to the dungeon with the Joker and Batman. Having put in the basement uh, cell with Failsafe and Zero-Na and all those other good things. So um, Chip's gonna keep going back to the well with Failsafe and Zero-Na, and to get to the Zero-Na that's going to appear in Absolute Power because that looks like a different Zero-Na, the one that we know. So have to see where that comes from.
Yeah, that just straight up looks like the Zerna in failsafe is like tightened up his armor and he's full on operating
Right,
in Gotham at that point. We'll see where
right,
it all leads. It's definitely
right.
not going
Um,
away anywhere anytime soon, that's for sure.
yep, absolutely. But that's going to be it for this edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. I am Paul. He is Mark,
But we are Legion.
and you are now leaving Sector 2815.